We are in New Orleans and we are so excited to be here. This is a fantastic city and we have so much planned on the agenda. We are gonna eat some great food, we are gonna see some great things, and we're gonna have some fun along the way. Thanks for coming along with us on this New Orleans adventure.
We have arrived in New Orleans. We're in the Lower Garden District near the Warehouse District, heading to our first stop. And that is actually going to be to get one of New Orleans' classic dishes. It's not gumbo, it's not jambalaya, it's a sandwich shop. And it's not even a po' boy.
We're here at Cajun Butcher, and we have two beautiful sandwiches in front of us. We've got the muffalata, and our other sandwich here is a porchetta cheesesteak. A classic muffalata, ham, mortadella, there's olive salad on here. It looks incredible. I'm just gonna go right in. Oh, provolone cheese too. Awesome. This is the sandwich of my dreams right now. Absolutely delicious. High quality ingredients. Really nice bread too. So if we look in here, there's that olive salad, which kind of, to me is like a giardiniera. Then we've got ham, salami, and mortadella, I believe. And then we have provolone cheese, bringing it all together here on this beautiful, sturdy bread. Packed with flavor. It's a good base for a night out in New Orleans.
All right, my turn to get on the muffaletta train. And to be honest, I've had one of these before, but it's been a long time. And I've avoided it on menus because I felt like the next muffaletta sandwich I wanted to have was right here in New Orleans. And I think we picked a good spot. This looks absolutely delicious. It's really good, but I'm not big on olives unless they're cooked into a dish. I actually like them on this. So if olives are one of those foods where you're like, I don't know if I love it, they play really well on the muffaletta. Now, this spot, the signage says butcher. We think it is related to this restaurant over here called Cajun. It's a butcher shop inside. What we did is we looked through the meat case and looked at the menu, and there was a porchetta Philly cheesesteak. Now that has nothing to do with New Orleans, but it was too good looking to pass up. So basically they stuff porchetta into a pita, peppers, cheese, onions. Like Madeline said, if you're looking for party fuel here in New Orleans, or the day after a party to refuel, this might be exactly what you're looking for. Yeah. That is insane. I do feel like this sandwich should come with a side of statins, but
You have a dirty face.
I do.
Yeah.
This is a dirty sandwich. Well, Cajun Butcher absolutely hit the spot here for our first stop in New Orleans. That muffaletta was incredible. The porchetta Philly cheesesteak was also very, very good. We have some big eyes on some food in this town. It's one of the best food towns in the United States, and we're excited to keep rolling here in New Orleans. Well, after that terrific lunch over at Cajun Butcher, Madeline and I are heading over to Mardi Gras World. So we cannot be here during Mardi Gras, and I'm not sure we're ever gonna make it. But if you can't visit during Mardi Gras, you can come see all the floats here at Mardi Gras World. So this is where they build most of the floats. It's the Blaine Kern Studios, and so the artists work here on the floats here. They work on them all year long, and so we said, you know what, we can't be here during Mardi Gras. We're gonna make a priority to come here and check it out. All right, this place is gonna be absolutely huge. I can already tell. Not that I'm some genius, but the building from the outside was gigantic. We are currently on the tour here at Mardi Gras World, and wow, it is fantastic. Seeing these art pieces up close that go on the floats is amazing. We're learning so much about the operation of Mardi Gras. There's so much that goes into it that you wouldn't even imagine. This is just one of like 19 warehouses they have, and they flip out all these pieces every 2 to 3 months. So if you come here, you're just going to see totally different things. And then we've been walked through kind of the process of how they make it, the way the different artists work. They make it out of styrofoam or one other material I forgot the name of at this point, but it's just the detail of these things up close is really, really impressive. Also, they served us king cake right before the tour started, and Madeline found the baby, and so she is now the queen of Mardi Gras. She's Queen Madeline. So I mean, we got beads. Madeline's already been crowned the queen. Loving it. It's actually how tall NBA players are. I am Iron Man. My day is not complete. I don't think Madeline saw this one. She's gonna freak out. I think that's Willie Nelson, right? You gotta let me know in the comments if that's Willie Nelson. I said before we started that I didn't think Madeline and I were ever going to come to Mardi Gras, but after visiting Mardi Gras World and learning more about Mardi Gras, I think that it might be something that we are now interested in doing. The king is at Mardi Gras. Behind me are the floats for the parade, and I can't say enough about how fantastic our tour guide was and how fantastic this tour was. Getting to come and explore this warehouse, and then after the tour they kind of let you walk around and look at everything up close. But one of the more interesting things our tour guide said was on these floats, the individuals who are riding on it, they bring like 200 pounds worth of beads or whatever else they want to throw out, and they spend thousands of dollars on all that stuff. And so that fact was really fascinating. And the other thing was there's like 3 porta potties on these floats because people are on them for like 8 hours. That makes riding in a float just a little bit less appealing.
So after the tour where the guide brings you through, then they just sort of release you in the warehouse. So you can just walk amongst the props and get a good look up close. Really, really incredible. The artistry, they do so much work by hand. They cut everything out of styrofoam and then just create these beautiful pieces. It is an art. It is incredible. All the pieces that go on the float, they call props. That's what the different people and the different designs are. But really a very unique, fun experience. I'm really enjoying this. I'm glad we came over. And one other thing, we watched a video beforehand before you come in, and they talked about all the different things that people throw, and that they throw at least 250 million beads during Mardi Gras. 250 million. It seems like a lot, but it also doesn't seem like that many. I would think it'd be more. So basically, they have Mardi Gras, lasts for a couple of weeks, And then the day after, they start planning the next year. So they spend the whole year designing and building these floats. Insane. Very fun stop into Mardi Gras world. I highly recommend it because getting to see the floats up close and personal was awesome. But now we're gonna keep exploring here in New Orleans.
We're gonna head over to a local brewery now after we had fun this afternoon over at Mardi Gras World. We're thirsty. We're ready for a nice cool treat. Well, we've stopped here in the Irish Channel area of New Orleans, and we are at Miel Brewery. Miel means honey in French. This is a really great setting. They got a nice outdoor space, nice tap room in there. There's also a crawfish boil going on outside, and we didn't know that before we showed up. We have dinner plans, otherwise we might be trying that, but I'm gonna go get a closer look at it because it smells really good. But before we do that, we're gonna have our first drinks here in New Orleans. I have the Vienna Lager, an amber beer. It's a little more golden. I've been waiting for my first drink here in New Orleans. Let's get to it. That beer tastes amazing. Also, I'm holding it very weirdly. I don't know why. It's like a big cup of tea.
That's nice. It's a beautiful day. It's like 70 degrees, sunny.
That crawfish boil was legit. That was a very fun atmosphere at Miel Brewery here in the Irish Channel area of New Orleans. We had to skip out on the crawfish, even though they smelled absolutely amazing. But if you're in town, check their website for events because they have these kind of regularly. I think you'd be in for a real treat if you decided to have that for dinner. But now we're gonna head to said dinner. It's gonna be good too. So as if New Orleans couldn't get any livelier, as we're heading to dinner, we got I think it's called a second line band of our wedding right here. Madeline has informed me that I'm indeed correct. It is called a second line band. You're gonna see those if you're here in New Orleans on a weekend. Madeline says the first line is the bride and the groom. The second line is the band. And then everyone else is just the wedding party. Of course, we all know that's where the most fun is. Well, tonight in the Garden District, we're going to dinner at Gris-Gris. Now, Gris-Gris is voodoo for good fortune. So we're gonna have the good fortune of eating Southern food and Creole food. I've been looking at the photos of the menu and oh boy, they look mouth-watering.
For an appetizer tonight, we got a cup of gumbo, and then we got the flambeau shrimp. So we're sitting at the kitchen counter, and we can literally see them preparing our appetizer right now. The best seats in the house. I'm very excited for this meal unfolding in front of us. Gumbo has arrived. It's got a very dark roux here. I think that's just gonna be packed with flavor. Looks delicious. This is my first bite of gumbo here in New Orleans. I'm afraid it's gonna be hot. That is a very deep, rich flavor. Oh, there's some andouille sausage, shredded chicken in here. Ton of flavor, absolutely delicious. A little bit of heat from that sausage. Oh my gosh. I've been waiting. This is the meal I've been waiting for. Wow, that is just delicious. Gumbo is kind of a labor of love. We made it at home before, and it's hard because you have to burn it, basically. This is spectacular.
All right, here we have the flambe shrimp appetizer. Gulf shrimp, we're right by the Gulf of Mexico. We're gonna go full shrimp, freshly fried. That's the shrimp I want on the po' boy that I will be getting in tomorrow's video. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, we're gonna eat more.
That is unbelievable. So for dinner tonight, I am finally getting to order shrimp and grits because every time we're in the South, Madeline orders shrimp and grits, and I just get to eat one shrimp and some grits off her plate. So I begged her tonight, may I please order shrimp and grits? And she said yes. And she's getting chicken and dumplings, I'm really jealous of that. So I'll get one piece of chicken and one dumpling. My shrimp and grits have arrived, and nothing builds your anticipation for your meal like watching the dish go by 3 or 4 times before it gets to your turn. And this kitchen is very orderly. We've had so much fun just sitting here watching them make these dishes. But we're not gonna wait any longer because our mouths are already watering. We got right there shrimp, grits, andouille sausage. That's like the perfect southern bite right there.
Oh my goodness, you went somewhere.
Just shut the camera off. The flavor there is just so deep. I mean, it's just, this is what happens when the meal is part of your culture. You can't replicate this unless you grew up on this and you've been eating it all your life. And
it's in your bones.
It's in your bones. It's also about to be in my belly.
Okay, shrimp and grits is my go-to order. Looks absolutely beautiful. While he's plating it, we just watched him like pour all the delicious juices from the pan right on top. Lots of flavor. The seasoning is incredible. Nice creamy grits. Chicken and dumplings. Some beautiful carrots in here. Some big, beautiful pieces of chicken. For the sake of our bite, we'll try to get a small bite, but it's really, I don't know if you can see the steam coming off, but it is piping hot. This is just the epitome of comfort food. Absolutely delicious. Again, full of flavor. Beautiful, big, beautiful dumplings. Delicious chicken. A little carb on carb action there.
After a delicious dinner at Gree, we've decided that we are now in need of a sweet treat. And by the way, if you made it to this point in the video, we really appreciate that. If you hit like and subscribe, the reason people ask you to do that is it actually helps the channel out. And we probably don't ask people to do that enough, but we don't have a Patreon, we don't have any of that stuff. We pay for our meals, we pay for all the travel. And so it's a really simple thing that if you kind of like our videos, hit like, hit subscribe. It boosts us in the algorithm and it lets us do more adventures like this. The other way you can help is by leaving a comment. So let us know in the comment section what you think the best piece of food we ate today was. For our sweet treat tonight, we're gonna head over to another spot in the Garden District called sucre, which is French for sugar. So, sweet treat, it's sugar. It's probably gonna be good.
We came over to sucre? Sucre? It's French.
Sucre.
Sucre? Sucre. Tell me in the comments if I said it right. We ordered the sucre fume, and it is basically a s'more. So it's kind of like a deconstructed s'more. So it is absolutely beautiful. Everything in there was gorgeous. And we do have a macaron as well.
We had two.
We had two, but one of them has disappeared very quickly. So here, let's just kind of, ooh, it's like, how do I get in here? Okay, so this is, it's like hard on the outside, and then you kind of break in to a chocolate mousse. And then also there is marshmallow on the inside. So, gosh, I feel bad like destroying it like that. It's so beautiful. That is like a delicious mousse. It's kind of like a thicker consistency than a mousse. Let's see if we can get some of this marshmallow on the bottom, and then it has like a little crust on the bottom too. It's good. It's good. Very rich, but it also kind of has like a smoky flavor too. Every element of this dessert is delicious.
Good spot.
If you want to see more from our adventures in New Orleans, click right here. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
It is a beautiful day here in New Orleans, Louisiana. We are in the Garden District, and before we go explore it, we're gonna start off with a little breakfast. Today we're starting at District Donut. It's a donut shop here in the Garden District. There was like a line out the door, and when we drove through the other day, we said, we gotta stop in there. I'm glad we did because their donuts look absolutely incredible. So we popped in, we got a few to start our day here. This is the sopapilla donut. It's a cinnamon sugar donut with a buttercream frosting on top of it and a honey glaze on it. So we're just gonna rip ourselves off a nice little piece there, lose the frosting.
Oh no.
We just ripped it in half. There we go. We got, look at that, I mean, look at how soft and pillowy that donut is.
So fluffy.
Yeah, it's so fluffy. All right, here we go. This looks like a good way to start a day here in New Orleans. Sopapillas are, I think, from New Mexico, right?
I think that's what they said when we were in New Mexico.
We're in New Orleans. This is a really good donut, though.
I have here the cinnamon roll. We saw it, someone else order it and ahead of us in line, and we went, yep, we're getting that. Beautiful cinnamon roll, caramel sugar on top. Let's go. That is a treat. Incredibly decadent for the first thing in the morning. Luckily, we are going to go walk around the Garden District, so this will fuel us through that. It's just a sugar bomb on top, but it is absolutely delicious. Holy cow.
One of the things you can do here in the Garden District is actually take a donut tour, and we didn't take the donut tour. The tour came through. They got an extra blueberry donut, and it was blessed upon us. And so we're gonna try that. This isn't the donut we saw out, but it was the donut that found us. And that might be the best donut. It's very good. They're 3 for 3 so far. After some terrific donuts, we are now going to do a self-guided walking tour of the Garden District. We'll put a link in the description of this video to the walking tour we used. So essentially, you know, you can join a group and do a walking tour, but if you go online, you can find your own kind of guided versions. It's better if you're on your own schedule, but I will say this, there's a lot of tour guides in this city, and you know, it's their livelihood. They do a great job. Yesterday we were at the Mardi Gras World, and our tour guide was fantastic. So we are definitely pro kind of having a local guide lead you around the city. Really just depends on what your itinerary is, however. Plus we have a 2-year-old, and you know, we don't like to disturb other people with her presence, because while we enjoy her and love her, someone else on vacation may not. So in the Garden District, we are just surrounded right now by beautiful Victorian mansions. There's a couple other styles in there. I think Revival is one of them. But you're just walking through these blocks, and these houses are just magnificent.
So we've stopped here at what is commonly referred to as the Anne Rice house. Anne Rice, the famous author who wrote Interview with a Vampire, Queen of the Damned, like the Vampire series, wrote Mayfair Witches, which I believe is set here in New Orleans, but I believe like this was supposed to be like the house from the book series. But she lived here in like the 90s, early 2000s. And she's from New Orleans, but very cool. The plaque out front says it's the like Greek style Italianate mansion. So we're learning a little bit more about the architecture ourselves of the area as we're walking through, but a beautiful home, huge and just gorgeous. This neighborhood is absolutely incredible. And definitely worth a trip over here, and a nice neighborhood to stay in too. You can rent there's a lot of rentals in this area where you can rent out like a whole mansion for the weekend. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, really beautiful neighborhood. So we're gonna keep walking on our self-guided tour. We met up on the tail end of another tour, but we're gonna continue our little walking tour onto our next stop. So behind me here, our next stop is the Carroll Crawford Mansion, and apparently Joseph Carroll threw some big, huge rager parties in the like late 1800s, and apparently Mark Twain liked to party here. So yeah, I hope the people who live there now throw some big ragers, because this is a gorgeous, gorgeous home. But that would be such like a cool, like fun fact if you own this house and you'd be like, oh, well, Mark Twain used to hang out here. I just think that's like, if you're ever doing like a get to know you sort of like first day of work or school or something, and you're like, oh, Mark Twain used to party in my house. I just feel like that's one of those fun facts that you throw around as much as possible. Absolutely incredibly gorgeous home. I just feel like whoever gets to live in these homes is just incredibly lucky and very wealthy. Wealth and luck.
The houses we're walking by right now are called the Seven Sisters, and the story behind these houses is that there's an 8th house that the father owned, and he had 7 daughters, and so he built 7 houses for them all to live in. Now that's not actually true, but that's the story. What's interesting about these is they're considered to be the only shotgun houses in the Garden District. A shotgun house essentially is a house where if you fired a shot through the front door, that shot would exit through the back door. So They're actually quite cool the way they're lined up, but they are, I mean, they're massive houses, but in comparison to some of these other houses in this district, they are a little bit different.
New Orleans really does embrace kind of like spooky culture with like, you know, the Anne Rice house has me thinking about how like vampires, witches, ghosts, voodoo, it all just comes together here and is another like facet to their culture. I just think New Orleans has so many different, like I said, so many different facets of their culture, such a unique culture that other cities just don't have, between the Mardi Gras celebrations, like I said, the voodoo, the ghost stories, just and so many really, really cool traditions. But we're gonna keep walking on our little tour here. So behind me here is the Buckner Mansion, which is one of the most photographed places in New Orleans. Famously used in season 3 of American Horror Story Coven as the school that the witches attended. That is a great season of that show. I think it's a lot of people's favorite season of that show. Jessica Lange, Sarah Paulson, amazing actresses. But beautiful. It was built as a school in the 1850s. It was a business school. It's now a private residence. It is absolutely massive. I don't even know if like video does justice to how huge this home is, but absolutely gorgeous. Very nice lawn as well, which I was saying there has to be a lot of pressure if you own these homes and you live in this neighborhood, because you have to keep things immaculate in your garden. But very cool. Like I said, there's a lot of witch lore down here. It makes perfect sense. American Horror Story would film a season down here, but yeah, there's a lot of people out there taking pictures right now. It's a very popular spot and very beautiful home. And actually over here, there is a film crew that I'm noticing set up, filming something. Here, let's take a look. Across the street there, you can see the whole film crew set up. So, I don't know, maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a TV show. Lot of gear. It's a massive production. It's gotta be a movie, right?
Movie or TV show?
It's definitely a movie or TV show, but it is a massive production, whatever it is. I don't see trailers, so I don't know. Maybe they're around here somewhere. We can find out if there's someone famous around. But yeah, huge crew. Wow, awesome. It's a cool house. We'll have to keep our eyes out for things that are filming in New Orleans coming up. I'm sure a quick Google and I can figure out what it is. That is cool. Look at us. It is a gorgeous location, and not one that you have to like do a lot of work to. It's just, they're just beautiful homes ready to go. Oh, I see trailers that way. Oh, I don't know. We'll look up what it is, and if we figure it out, we'll put it a little asterisk somewhere or something in the comments below. Yes. Isn't that a sweet doggy?
You're a good boy.
You have a beautiful home.
You're a good doggy.
Hi, doggy. This home here is the oldest in the Garden District. It was built in 1838. It is a Greek revival, and let's see if we can get another like side view. It's kind of hidden. There's a lot of beautiful trees in front, so it's kind of nice. It's a little less exposed than some of the other homes, but you can see a little bit. This one actually has a large yard, because some of them are just more like little courtyards in the front, kind of maximize the space of the home and have smaller yards. But this one has a pretty good piece of property too. But yeah, 1838. We're gonna keep rolling and see what we find next. Absolutely loving this. Like, just wandering through his beautiful neighborhood and coming across these historic homes is fascinating.
If you're wondering about different styles, this one is Greek Revival. On occasion, I find that the ironwork on the gates outside of the mansions is sometimes as interesting as the house. Behind me is the Barbie dream house in the Garden District. We know that it's pink, and that if Barbie were to live somewhere, this is according to Evie, Barbie was going to live in that house. Well, this house is so big that I had to stand across the street to show it in the frame. We're gonna go take a look at the plaque and see what it's all about, but I feel like I keep looking at houses and going, well, that's obviously the biggest one in the Garden District. And then I walk around the corner and there's another house that's bigger. So that house is an example of the Italianate style here in the Garden District, and it was built by a tobacco magnate. So, a lot of money in the sins. We're talking like old tobacco money, like 1800s. One thing I do want to say is that it's been absolutely pleasant morning walking around the Garden District. They suggest that you come either later in the afternoon, kind of as the sun's setting, or here kind of mid-morning, so that you don't have the heat to deal with. The house behind me, which you can get a little bit of a glimpse of through the front gate, is the home to a very famous movie star. It is Miss Congeniality, Danny Ocean's sister, and she married Ryan Reynolds, even though they weren't in love. But they fell in love in Alaska because they had a fake proposal. So it's kind of a widely known fact that this is that individual's house. So we typically try to respect the privacy of and really not list where people are at, but I mean, it's kind of listed on all tours. So it's a beautiful house. We're also going to go walking the street and find Benjamin Button's house. Of course, Benjamin Button ages backwards, so. And this behind me is the aforementioned Benjamin Button house, recently renovated, but Benjamin Button is next door neighbors to Sandy B. Only in Hollywood. Actually, only in New Orleans. Also in the Garden District is Lafayette Cemetery. In New Orleans is below sea level, so the deceased are not buried, they're entombed over above ground. Cemeteries really aren't our thing, but cemetery tours are popular down here, so if that's something that intrigues you, you can also do that in the Garden District. This blue awning is Commander's Palace. Very famous historic restaurant here in New Orleans. Not going to be eating there either because they have a dress code. And you know, it's hard for Madeline and I to go out to a fine dining dinner with a 2-year-old who is not a welcome guest at any dinner table. We have had a very good time walking around the Garden District this morning. We spent about 2 hours here. It's been very relaxing. It's been a very nice day. But right now, believe it or not, we are hungry. So I think we're gonna go to a local spot and get a New Orleans staple. For lunch today, we drove about 10 minutes and we're gonna head to a local spot, and that is Domalise's Po' Boys. It's kind of a hole in the wall here in New Orleans, and they're only open during the week, and they've been serving up Po' Boys for a long time, and we've been waiting. We've been waiting for the Po' Boys, and they're on their way. If Domalise's is good enough for Peyton and Eli, I mean, it's good enough for Adam and Madeline. We did, however, forget to put on our quarter zips. All right, so we have gotten our sandwiches here. We got one fried shrimp po' boy, fully dressed, and one roast beef po' boy, also fully dressed. We actually have Swiss on that po' boy as well. We just got a small version. There are also versions with oysters, there's versions with catfish, just all sorts of different po' boy. Anything you can throw on a sandwich, you can do that here in New Orleans. So we're gonna just go ahead. We're not gonna wait any longer. You see the fried shrimp on there, the pickles, the dressing, the lettuce. It's on French bread. Here we go. You can get po' boys everywhere. They get served Louisiana, Cajun, Creole, all across the United States. But there's something about food that when you're in the area it's from, it just tastes different. That's because they've done it for years and years and years. This food just fits the area. You got a little bit of heat coming through on that sauce, but love the fried shrimp, love the French bread. And man, this is just hitting the spot after a long morning walk around the Garden District.
This beautiful roast beef po' boy here. Oh my gosh. Lettuce. I mean, that looks kind of messy, but it also looks absolutely delicious. There's this delicious gravy on here. Oh my god, I'm talking about it. That is fantastic. Oh my gosh. The beef is just cooked perfectly. The gravy on here is just rich and hearty. Just gets into your bones, this food. And like Adam said, they just know what they're doing down here. These places are institutions that just knock it out of the park. That is good. My face messy? Probably. Yep. I know I went shrimp first, but truthfully, what I wanted was this roast beef one. I mean, look at that. You got mustard on there. You got gravy on there. Wow. If food's making you happy before you bite into it, that's a good sign.
For dinner tonight in the Garden District, we decided to switch things up a little bit. We found a spot called Union Ramen and the menu looked amazing. We looked through pictures and we're like, let's do that. We love our Southern food. We're loving the Cajun Creole dishes down here. But we've got a few more days here. We've got a lot more food to eat and we just decided to try something a little bit different tonight.
For appetizers tonight, we ordered the crawfish and shrimp lumpia. It comes with a red pepper dipping sauce. That was something that we looked up beforehand. We saw it on Yelp and said, yes, we are ordering that. We also ordered the Beggar's Purse dumplings. There's a wide array of ingredients in the dish. It has pimento cheese, red wine reduction, blueberries, and cilantro. A wide array of ingredients that I cannot wait to try because it just sounds so good. Okay, we have the crawfish and shrimp lumpia just showed up. It looks delicious, nice and crispy. The red pepper sauce. Very good. Super crispy, delicious flavor. And I love this sauce. It's kind of sweet. Not really spicy, just a little like sweet and sour.
All right, here's the pimento cheese dumplings. They look absolutely amazing. So much flavor going on in this dish right here. We're gonna get a little red wine reduction on it.
Hot. This is the chili sauce. We got tier 1 because we're kind of scared. Yeah, the chili oil brings some heat, but there is an incredible depth of flavor here. Holy moly. That is piping hot. Holy moly. The beef is delicious. The noodles also. And then that egg just like coats everything and just a delicious richness.
It was here.
I don't know if you can really see. It's very good.
Union Ramen knocked it out of the park. I love the way they incorporated kind of southern flair and southern food into some of the dishes, like crawfish and shrimp lumpia, and the pimento cheese and the beggar's purse dumplings was absolutely amazing. Super rich dinner, absolutely delicious. But now we want a sweet treat, so we're heading for some beignets.
We're here at Vintage for our late night beignets. They just came out, they're piping hot. They are covered in powdered sugar. We started the day with donuts. Now we're ending the day with donuts. And I mean, we're better to do that. We also got a specialty beignet. It's a s'more beignet. And it's stuffed with marshmallow and topped with chocolate and graham crackers. So biting into this, I've learned my lessons. Let's just cut it. Look at that.
Oh man, wow.
That is a s'more beignet.
That is decadence. Oh my God.
Holy cow. That is one of the biggest sugar bombs I've ever had. I mean, it stays true to the s'more, but it is a lot.
My first beignet here in New Orleans.
It's like out the Bible Belt. Like everywhere else has savor.
Absolutely delicious. You know, they're sweet, but it's not overpowering. Nice and warm. Like Adam said, we started the day with donuts, we're ending the day with donuts. But this is the place to do that. This is a very, very cute place here in the Garden District.
Another delicious sweet treat here in New Orleans. Vintage, very cute spot. Really love this area of the Garden District, this like main drag on Magazine here where they have all the shops, and really having great luck with restaurants in this area. So another fun day really exploring the Garden District here in New Orleans. Can't wait to see what we have planned next. If you want to see more from our adventures in New Orleans, click right here. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Today is day 3 for us here in New Orleans, and we are kicking off this morning with a little coffee. Then we're heading out for lunch for some more delicious New Orleans staples. And then we're gonna continue exploring this amazing city. We're gonna go to Frenchmen Street, Bourbon Street, not to party too much, but to just take a look around, maybe people watch a little bit. But we're gonna start off our day here at French Truck Coffee. They have a couple locations all around the city. They started as a food truck. Pop in for a little morning fuel before we get on with our day. And then here, we just got a croissant, but it is a ham and cheese croissant. Looked really good in the case. That's nice and crispy. I've been craving a croissant since we got here because there's like a million croissant shops. It's hitting the spot. Now it's time to head out and explore more New Orleans.
I'm very excited for lunch today here in New Orleans because we are going to Café Reconcile. It's a nonprofit program that runs a restaurant that teaches 16 to 24-year-olds who want a career in the culinary arts here in New Orleans to learn how a restaurant works, learn the different roles in a restaurant. And the reviews are fantastic. Part of the focus of the cafe is teaching those local classic dishes. So the menu you're gonna find is everything that you'd want to eat here in New Orleans. And we're ready to hop in, eat some tasty food. Our order has been placed here at Café Reconcile, and to be honest, the menu looked absolutely fantastic. We had a hard time deciding which dish we were gonna get. But we're getting a red beans and rice with grilled sausage, and we're also getting the daily special. It's a blackened chicken covered in a crawfish sauce, and that's stuffed with cornbread and crab meat. I saw that dish and said, that sounds like New Orleans to me, and we're excited because we've seen the food come out. It looks fantastic, smells great in here. What more could you ask for to start your day here in New Orleans? My dishes arrived, and my compliments to Café Reconcile. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful dish of food. We've got the chicken. You can see that it's stuffed with that cornbread and that crab meat. It's topped with that crawfish sauce. I mean, this is worth the trip to New Orleans right here. I haven't even taken a bite yet, and I think it might be my favorite dish I get the entire time I'm in this town. So here we go. No more delay. Sometimes you just know, right? Every single part of this dish is absolutely delicious. The blackened chicken's great. The stuffing, the cornbread, and the crab is fantastic. And that crawfish sauce. You know, we keep sneaking crawfish into our dishes here in New Orleans, and it's working. This is. I might just sit here all day and just order this dish again and again and again and again.
Just a beautifully plated dish here. Wow. They do not skimp on portions here either. All right, let's get a little bit of crawfish. I like eating crawfish this way, then I don't have to do any work to clean it. Here we go. Wow. This is a cornbread stuffing. Fantastic. Yeah, I would be happy, like, to just eat this dish all day. This is a special, so we can't guarantee that it'll be on the menu if you come here. But if it is, that's a must order because, wow, that is good. It does not get more classic New Orleans than red beans and rice. I have been waiting for this dish. Here we go. That is good.
full flavor. Let's get some sausage. That is good. It's like, I love gumbo, I love jambalaya, I love red beans and rice. I don't know what's my favorite. It's like whichever one I'm eating at the time I'm eating it. But wow, I think we're 2 for 2 here at Cafe Reconcile. I also got some smoked sausage on the side. Doubling down on sausage. Let's have a bite. Very good. Smoky. Tons of flavor.
Our meal is so good, we knew we had to get dessert. So we asked our server what her favorite dessert was. She said, unequivocally, the bread pudding. This is a Bananas Foster bread pudding. It actually combines 2 classic New Orleans desserts into one. And we're just gonna go in here.
Oh, half of it's gone already.
Thanks, Evie. Look at that. That just, you see the steam coming off of it. There's that liquor sauce on the outside. Just an A+. Like, everything about this place is top notch. Cafe Reconcile, absolute home run. Every dish knocked it out of the park. We're in for a good afternoon. The day has started well here in New Orleans. Let's just put it that way.
Right now, I am heading to the Sazerac House to learn a little bit more about cocktails in New Orleans, especially the Sazerac, which is the official cocktail of the city. The tour is free and open to people of all ages, but I am going solo on this trip. Cocktails are very much a part of the culture down here in New Orleans, and this place is super cool. It's actually a free self-guided tour, so you just come on over and learn a little bit about cocktails here in New Orleans. It's like the history of cocktails in New Orleans, specifically the Sazerac, which is a very popular cocktail, but smells amazing in here. The Sazerac is made with sugar, Sazerac rye, bitters, and then something called herb saint. It's like instead of absinthe, because they make them with absinthe as well, and then lemons. Yeah, and it originated as like for medicinal reasons. So like a pharmacist kind of created the Sazerac. So pretty cool. I think I can taste a little over here. So on the top floor, we learned about the Sazerac, which is the official drink of New Orleans. Now we wind our way down to the next floor where we learn about rum cocktails. The Sazerac that we got to taste was delicious. She said it's spirit forward, which just means it's strong and that you just sip it. And that was just a little taste. And I get what she was saying. So we just tried a rum punch over here, and so you do like a little tasting on each floor, and they talk about what they're serving and give you a little bit of history of each cocktail. Very, very cool experience. Very interactive tour, which is a lot of fun too. There's like interactive bartenders and things like that. So really cool. It's a really cool spot. Sometimes when things are on lists of like must do in this city and you go do it, it doesn't really live up to the hype. But I have to say that is a very cool experience. Interactive and fun. You do get to taste a Sazerac and then a rum cocktail and a whiskey cocktail, and it just kind of brings you through like basic history of not only the Sazerac but just kind of cocktails in general in New Orleans. So really cool spot, beautiful space, and just a fun, cool, I mean, all that for free. You just can walk right in. So really enjoyed it, and now we're gonna keep exploring here in New Orleans and see what we get into next. I mean, yes, New Orleans is a place you come to party, you go to Bourbon Street, you get a big hurricane or drinks to go on the street, but something like this kind of teaches you that there's way more to the culture of cocktails in this town than just drinking on Bourbon Street. So kind of fun, educational, and gives you a bit of a deeper appreciation for what they do here and how they hold on to their history.
Well, the afternoon continues and we ventured over to Frenchmen Street. It's, I think, still considered part of the French Quarter. However, it is not as nuts as Bourbon Street. It's really a popular street for jazz, maybe a little bit less touristy because you get off the main drag. Definitely a lot of jazz clubs around here, and even in the afternoon, kind of in the middle of the week, there's live jazz being played. A lot of these are 21.
Oh yeah.
You can hear live jazz behind me. Really good. It's kind of what we're looking for. Fortunately, most of these jazz clubs do not allow under 21 in there. Some of them allow like 12 and older, but you can hear the music filling the streets, so we might just get a beer and set aside. We're gonna pop into Brieux Carré Brewing Company. I'm quite confident I butchered that. Well, we picked up some beers here at Brew Car. Again, I'm probably butchering that. Whenever I'm in Louisiana and you get the like UAX ending, like Go Tigers, or I have this mental block where I just absolutely cannot pronounce the word. But we got two beers. It seems that they specialize in kind of Belgian, German, Czech kind of beers. They've got lighter ales, pilsners, and they all go all the way to darker brews from those countries. We got a Belgian ale and a Czech pilsner. So, it's time to sample. That is tasty. That is a tasty brew. Brew, B-R-E-A-U-X. I like that one as well. I am going to give this one to Madeline because I like this one slightly better, but I think she'll like that one better because I know her taste.
I do like this beer. We're sitting out here in their beer garden. It's covered because it's rather sunny today. It's heating up here in New Orleans, but very refreshing and a nice spot, sort of off the main drag of Frenchmen.
We're gonna go walk around this side of the French Quarter a little bit here. We're going to free jazz tonight. One of the hard things about the jazz clubs is that they won't let you in with a youngin'. So, free jazz in the park is a good way to get a little bit of music. New Orleans is famous for a lot of musical styles. Jazz, reggae, soul, funk. We want to get that, so we're gonna get it. Truly does not stop being lively around here.
Tuesday nights, the New Orleans Jazz Museum has free jazz in the park. So, right now they have a brass band playing to a pretty sizable crowd. So, we stopped and listened for a bit, and now we're going to keep rolling here in New Orleans.
We have left the French Quarter. We're now heading to dinner. We're heading to dinner at Mace Arepas. Arepas are a Colombian sandwich. They're kind of like a corn patty and the meat stuffed inside. Here they do kind of Colombian and Creole and kind of use some of the flavors from Louisiana. So we thought we've really hit it hard on the classic New Orleans dishes, so let's do something with a little bit of a twist. The order is in here at Mace Arepas, and we are starting off with 2 appetizers. We're getting the street corn, and judging by the photos, this is the dish to get. It looks fantastic. We're also getting the arepa sampler, and we couldn't decide which arepa to get. They were all look so good, so we decided let's go with the sampler appetizer. For our entree, we're getting the bandeja paisa, and it was recommended to us by our server. It's got a whole bunch of things on it. It's got like chorizo, chicharrones, flank steak. I think I saw cranberries. So we don't really know what's coming out, but we're excited because the food looks absolutely incredible. Yo!
Wow.
Look at that flavor. Street corn. Cojita cheese. That is like a Creole Colombian remoulade, I think, on there. I read that on the menu. That's where I find out most information about food. And there's kind of some sort of cayenne sauce in there. Not really sure. It looks really, really good. Street corn is very good. A lot of flavor. Flavor really comes flying out of there when you take a bite into it.
A little messy, huh?
It's a little messy, but most good food is.
Absolutely gorgeous. I really just want to like take a spoon and eat all the cheese and sauce that's on the plate. I'll do that off camera, so to avoid judgment. But here we go. Honestly, it's probably the best corn I've ever had. The arepas have arrived. We have a chicken, a pork, and the beef. So the chicken one, it looks like it has green chilies and avocado on it. I'm gonna go with that one first. So the arepa on the bottom is soft and yet like kind of just crispy enough, and it holds up really well. Like you see, like very sturdy base. Delicious flavor in the chicken.
All right, I got the pork arepa. It's got pickled red onion on top, cojita cheese, and I think it gets a little bit of that remoulade from the side there. So yeah, it's hard to figure out where to bite into this. Their pork is like a mojo pork. Like every bite we've taken is just exploding with flavor. I mean, it's just layered on here, which is awesome.
All right, final arepa from this sampler is the beef. It's got like tomato and onions on top. There's a lot of flavor dripping out of this one, and it's all being held perfectly by the arepa on the bottom.
All right, so here's our dinner order, and I'm gonna walk us through what we got. We got plantains two ways. These are fried, and then these are kind of the green pan-seared, I think. This is the chicharron, egg, flank steak. Over here we got chorizo. These are beans, like a bean side with more pork in there probably.
Yeah.
And I think there's rice in here.
There's rice underneath that.
Rice underneath here. So I think what we're gonna do is I don't even know how to attack this other than take this flank steak, put it on top of the egg, and cut it over so all those juices cover that rice. Let's go in here. There's just been more flavor packed in this meal than all of it. I don't even know. I'm lost for words. It's been a great day eating.
I'm gonna try the chorizo.
There's some sort of sauce down in there. Down there.
Oh, that's a sauce on the egg. Well, I guess I'll have egg and chorizo, which kind of seems like breakfast. Well, that's delicious. Not really surprised. I mean, we had sausage for lunch, now sausage for dinner. Two very different flavors, but they know how to do that in this town. Wow. Spicy and delicious. That's awesome. The beans are delicious. And I'm not really sure how to eat the chicharron. Like, just cut a piece off and... I got a piece of that. Smoky, crispy. Not the healthiest bite in the world, but it is tasty.
Well, mas arepas. Just absolutely flavorful meal. Loved it. I mean, just exactly what we're looking for. But we're not done yet. We're in New Orleans, and as they say, a beignet a day is the way. They don't say that, but that's what I say. Or a beignet a day keeps the doctor away, or beignet a day. And we're just gonna get another beignet. For tonight's beignet, we are just off the St. Charles streetcar line. We are at Uptown Coffee, 3 days, 3 beignets. Today we got mini beignets. Just wanted to mix it up. Hot.
If you want to see more from our adventures in New Orleans, click right here. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Today we're in New Orleans, and we're gonna do a bit of a walking tour here in the French Quarter. This video is gonna be unique because it is just me. Madeline is busy with an event today, and I am happily here in the French Quarter in New Orleans. Now, I'm not alone. I have our little one with me. So we're gonna do a bit of a daddy-daughter date, but we've got a whole bunch of spots we wanna hit while we're in New Orleans, and I thought we'd start over at the French Market. Can we get one authentic praline and then the beignets? Which one? Do the praline filled. So we're starting here in New Orleans at Loretta's. We've got the classic praline. It is basically a pretty simple dish. It's kind of like a bark. You've got either peanuts, almonds, I think pecans in there. And then you cover it with a sugar and cream sauce, and it kind of forms into a bark. It's really good. I think the real star of the show is coming up next, and that is the praline beignet. I searched all over on blogs, Google, Yelp, all that stuff, and what I found consistently was the praline beignet at Loretta's here in the French Market was the best one. So we ordered some of those. They're gonna be coming out soon. And I don't know, I think we're in for a tasty treat. All right, so these praline beignets from Loretta's look absolutely incredible. They're soft, they're doughy, they're pillowy. You do get that flavor that is kind of just like a praline, but the beignet covered in powdered sugar. Look at how you just get like that melty in there right on top. Oh my goodness. What a way to start this day with this beignet. What a way to start this day with this beignet. That sounds like a Dr. Seuss rhyme. Down for it. Those are too good. I honestly don't think you can come to New Orleans without getting this beignet. This might be the best sweet treat in the city. We got a lot to live up to here today because this is an incredible way to start. We're just gonna walk around, look at statues, look at buildings, learn a lot more about the French Quarter here in New Orleans. We don't really have a plan today except to just kind of walk around and explore this area. 20 minutes ago, there was about a quarter of the amount of people in this place as there is right now. So French Market fills up fast. But there's some good looking food around here. Many of you aren't too kind with some of the reviews, especially in the French Quarter. I get that it's where tourists come, but there's also a lot of very good food around here. So do your research, you'll find something good. All right, next thing we're gonna do is pop into a little store here called Pepper Palace. Louisiana, a lot of hot sauces. I think this place has the most hot sauce per capita of any place in the world. We're gonna try not to torch our taste buds while we're in there. When Madeline and I first came to New Orleans a long time ago, I dipped a piece of popcorn in a hot sauce that was so hot that I had to lay down in the park on a bench for about half an hour recovering, and we will not make that mistake again. this area is just full of t-shirt shops. It's not really a tradition we partake in very much. Central Grocery is under construction. They're undergoing repairs from hurricane damage. So they're famous for their muffalettas, but they're actually here next door at the liquor shop. The famous muffaletta sandwich is said to have originated essentially an Italian sandwich with giardiniera on top, which we enjoy because we're from Chicago. Well, we've approached the Jackson Square area. It's a lively day here in New Orleans, as it typically is. A lot of street art. I'm not really sure who buys this stuff. If you're someone who buys it, let me know in the comments. I don't think I'd like to travel home with it. I also don't know where I'd put it in my house. But they're out here. Some of the artwork needs a blur. Some of these paintings have earned beads here in New Orleans. Just put it at that. I will admit some of this artwork's pretty good, but now that we're in the AI era, I always wonder if some of this stuff isn't AI generated and then mass printed onto...
And the last one in the hat's always the lucky one.
Mass printed and then put onto a canvas by a machine and then sold on the streets. Is that art? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. For all the craziness that is going on around me, look over here. You got drinking, you got horses, you got crowds of people, you got bands playing, and it's certainly a live atmosphere. But I will say the architecture, especially as you look behind me here in Jackson Park, it's incredible. This kind of French version of architecture, probably a little French. Probably a little Caribbean in there as well, but it's undeniably beautiful city. So we'll keep walking around here in the French Quarter, seeing what we can find. This is kind of a new style of video. I want to be able to mix it up on this channel. We are really appreciative of all the growth we've had, and it's going to allow us the opportunity to travel to further destinations outside the United States. But at the same time, we don't feel like we can make the same food vlog every single day. So this is new, this is different, and we're going to see if it works. That is the line to get into Café du Monde. Or you can wait like 0 minutes for praline beignets over at Loretta's in the French Market. It's probably a pretty easy decision. The only thing lucky about Lucky Hot Dogs is not having it destroy your day the day after you eat one. Behind me is St. Louis Cathedral. We're gonna pop inside. One of the things that we love when we go over to Europe is going to all of the old churches and just seeing the beautiful architecture of them. You don't have that as much here in the United States, but this church is quite striking from the outside. This actually is quite the beautiful church. I've always wanted to come inside here, and it's well worth it. $6 for 3 candles. Credit cards accepted. Behind me is the Faulkner House bookstore. It was a house that William Faulkner, the author, owned, and then they turned it into a bookstore. It's kind of here off the side of this St. Louis Cathedral in this alley. And there's just all sorts of little interesting buildings around here. They're all very historic, dating back to the 1800s. So if you stop and look, you learn things. And I kind of like having days like this where I don't really know a whole lot, and I just kind of learn about the area. Well, right now we're walking down Royale Street. It's a lot less chaotic than the street that way, or Bourbon Street. Really cool architecture on the street. You could probably say that about most streets in the city. But it is interesting how each street in the French Quarter kind of has its own little vibe. So this one is definitely more artsy. A lot of different art shops, custom furniture, all that types of stuff. But right now, I think we're gonna head over and grab some lunch. Beignets for breakfast were delicious, but they're not keeping me full. Some very old lady who married the Prince of Monaco was born in that spot. And those are the things that you just, you know, can't find unless you're here. Now, some of this art here on Royale Street, I think, is much more compelling than the street art over in Lafayette Square. It's also probably 100 times more expensive. Well, we popped in here to St. John's in the French Quarter, and we're gonna get a little bit of gumbo. It looks delicious, it smells delicious. It's andouille chicken, which is exactly what I wanted. We might get some seafood gumbo later this week, but here we go. It's exactly what you want. Well, wanted to stop in there, got a cup of gumbo, terrific gumbo, chicken andouille sausage. It's one of the better restaurants in the city. The chef there also has another restaurant in the Garden District. But fun day. We might rest up a bit, and we're gonna get back out there in the afternoon and explore more of the French Quarter. We're back here in the French Quarter, and we've got a lot going on. And we've got people going by in clamshells. We're gonna do something funky. From time to time, I like to check out very random museums, and there's a lot of random museums here in New Orleans. There's a Voodoo Museum. There's different state museums, which are a little more historical. There's a jazz museum, which I might go to later in the week. But one that really caught my eye is a pharmacy museum. I'm secretly fascinated by old medicine. When you really look at old medicine, it makes you think about, like, what will people in 1,000 years think about our medicine? And so we're gonna go check out this pharmacy museum. Should be pretty interesting. Well, checking something off the New Orleans bucket list, which was to pop into one of these kind of strange museums. In this pharmacy museum, definitely has a lot of old artifacts. You wonder what percentage of pharmaceuticals in the mid-1800s was total junk science. I'm guessing 99.9% of it. But it had to start somewhere, right? But this courtyard is really nice. And this bird that's chirping is really enjoying it. There's a little bit more of the house, so I'm gonna head upstairs and check that out. Well, the pharmacy museum was an interesting stop. Very nice courtyard. Like seeing all the old-timey pharmacy tools. There's a good number of random museums like that down here in the French Quarter, and I don't think the whole family has to go, but if there's something that piques your interest, then it's worth a fun stop. This place has tiny food jewelry. I mean, if they had a tiny hot dog, Madeline would she would pay whatever price was necessary for that piece of jewelry, but I don't see it, so I might have to tell her about this, because I think her dream is to have a piece of jewelry that has a tiny hot dog on it. She will find this video and laugh very hard when she edits this vlog.
Back on the season, maybe
It's a rainy night here in New Orleans, and we're heading out to dinner in the Central Business District to compare Lapin.
We're here at Compare Lapin. We just put in our order. To start, we got hush puppies. We're in the South. We always get hush puppies when we're in the South. They've got scallions and jalapenos in them. I'm getting a curry goat dish that's got sweet potato gnocchi and a sauce covering it. Madeline's getting the fish dish, and it's always a different fish, but it's Gulf caught red snapper. My curried goat has arrived. It's got sweet potato and gnocchi. I'm not gonna wait. I'm just gonna go right in. It smells amazing. Covered in sauce, cilantro on top, cashews on top. Let's go for it. The flavor there is just, it's deep. Like, it's one of their signature dishes, and wow, it delivers big time.
We have the snapper, black-eyed peas, pureed yucca, and then a beautiful white wine sauce on top. We're gonna, gosh, it looks good. I'm gonna flip this over. Here we go. Yummy. Fish is cooked perfectly. It's like nice, light fish on top, and then you have just the black-eyed peas and the yucca. It's like the lighter side of comfort food, but it is very good, full of flavor. That is really nice. Beautiful flaky snapper here. The sauce is delicious. If you want to see more from our adventures in New Orleans, click right here. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Well, we got a bit of a late start here in New Orleans this morning, but we are going to head out and get some chicken. And then we're gonna go over and explore City Park. It's a beautiful park here in New Orleans, and we're gonna head over to the art museum. We are starting our day here in New Orleans, yet again with donuts. This time, cinnamon sugar beignets. Beignets in the morning, beignets in the evening. When you're having beignets, you're having a good time.
Beignet all day.
Beignet all day, as Adam's coined the new phrase. Should put it on a t-shirt.
Oh my God, we should totally sell those shirts.
I bet those shirts already exist.
But if they don't,
that is
we're gonna be
tasty.
billionaires.
We've not had a cinnamon sugar beignet yet. Nice and hot. We have a lot on the agenda today, but first things first, we're heading to lunch because I'm eating breakfast, but I'm already thinking about lunch.
Today for lunch in New Orleans, we've drove across the bridge to Gretna, and we're going to a restaurant that opened in the last couple of years, and that's Chicken's Kitchen. And they've got Southern food, soul food, fried chicken, all sorts of delicious New Orleans classics. We've got our fried chicken lunch here at Chicken's Kitchen. This place smells absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the flavors come out of this. Everything looked incredible. It's hard to decide what sides we were getting and what meat we were getting. They have barbecue chicken, fried catfish, smothered pork chop. But we went with the fried chicken. Chef Chicken, the reason he's called Chef Chicken, he loves chicken, so we're going with the staple, right? We also have white beans and rice, 5-star mac and cheese, and braised greens right there. So this looks like a meal that will wrap you up in a blanket and give you a big hug. I want to go with the white beans and rice. I mean, look, you got the andouille sausage in there. I'm gonna do that look a lot here, I think. Those are unreal. Didn't even know, I mean, I always used to red beans and rice. I didn't know you could do white beans and rice just as good. All right, this 5-star mac and cheese. Look at that. That's
hot.
I'm not kidding you when I say that's the best mac and cheese I've ever had in my entire life. I'll let Madeline get in here and confirm that. Unbelievable. All right. Last side here, braised greens. Looks like we got some ham in there.
Three for three.
3 for 3. We got a little ham bone in there because we know it's a real one. Here we go. Fried chicken. Look at that. It looks well seasoned. We wanted to split one plate, but we might be hopping back in line to get every other thing in there. I mean, this has all just been phenomenal. This definitely ranks up near the top of all the food we've had in New Orleans. Bite for bite, I'm not sure anything's come close to Chicken's Kitchen.
Okay, the mac and cheese was hyped. Yeah, that's good. Large quantities of mac and cheese is very hard to do, and it is so flavorful and so creamy. It's really delicious. Holy moly. And the greens. Oh my god. That was just flavor. I had the red beans and rice yesterday. The white beans and rice, I really liked it. Wow. I think that I might try to make it home. It won't be this good though. I know that. I can't say it enough. Everything is so well seasoned. I'm not surprised. I had a feeling, you know, chef, born and raised in New Orleans, knows a thing or two about seasoning. I'm gonna get some more chicken, if I can, somehow.
Just grab it and take a bite.
The chicken, the seasoning was just like penetrated off the top.
Madeline and I cannot say enough good things about how delicious the food was at Chicken's Kitchen. Every single bite there, loaded with flavor, and we're just gonna call it. That was the best meal we've had in New Orleans. After that delicious start to the morning, and using the word delicious there is probably an understatement, Chicken's Kitchen was phenomenal. We're gonna have to redefine what we mean when we say this food is dripping with flavor after eating there. It's totally reset our scale. But we've come over to the New Orleans City Park. It's a gigantic park here in New Orleans, and we're just gonna spend the afternoon going around the park. There's some museums, there's Café du Monde. It's a beautiful day and a good spot to keep enjoying the city. Well, we've stopped here in the park to get Evie's favorite food, the beignet, or as she calls them, donuts. This is a much more enjoyable experience compared to Café du Monde over in the French Quarter, which is, quite frankly, just a madhouse. But same beignets, jazz in the park, see that behind me, and less of a line. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. These are damn good. They're damn good. Café du Monde in the park though, better setting in my opinion.
Another delicious beignet. These are definitely the fluffiest we've had. Some of the other ones have been more hollow. Very good. It's kind of fun how we've managed to find so many different kinds. But Café du Monde does have the reputation for a reason. They're delicious. I'd come here. This location is relaxing. It's a beautiful setting. And easier to get in, it seems like. So also located within City Park is the New Orleans Museum of Art. We're in the Besthoff Sculpture Garden. Very cool. Beautiful. It's a beautiful park. But you can walk amongst all these sculptures, people take pictures, and it's just a beautiful day to be out here exploring. Right now we are in the Sidney and Walda Besthoff Sculpture Garden. It's part of the New Orleans Museum of Art here in City Park. There's a lot of really cool sculptures here. Some of them you can get up close to and kind of interact with. And really a beautiful space here within the already beautiful park. Yeah, so we're just gonna take a stroll and enjoy some sculptures in this beautiful park.
We're gonna head into the New Orleans Museum of Art. New Orleans has such a rich history with so many different backgrounds that I feel like this might be kind of a unique museum, and we're having such a good time in the park we don't want to leave. So kind of an impromptu decision, but I think we're gonna feel good about it. This is Andy Warhol of Mick Jagger. That is worth the price of admission right there. An enjoyable stop into the New Orleans Museum of Art. They've got some art you'd recognize, a couple of Picassos, some Monet, some Andy Warhol. The Andy Warhol, if you're a Rolling Stones fan, it's a painting of Mick Jagger. So, I mean, if you're a Rolling Stones fan, like, that's a no-brainer, right? Like, you got to go see an Andy Warhol painting of Mick Jagger. I am not an art historian, but I definitely do like art. I like visiting museums. I also watched the show White Collar on USA, so I learned a surprising amount of art history from that show. So Madeline is always very impressed with my ability to randomly know things about art. Anyway, we had a fun afternoon here in the park in New Orleans, but we're going to keep on rolling because we're having way too much fun to stop. Well, as we learned at the art museum, Degas lived here for 5 months. This is the Degas house. It's actually a bed and breakfast, so if you want, you can stay here. All right, fun stop. I just wanted to check that out since we learned that at the art museum. We're now going to head to find more food. For our early dinner today, we're going to go to Parkway Tavern and get some po' boys, get some jambalaya. We are nearing the end of our time here in New Orleans. We've thoroughly enjoyed this city. We've had some of the best food we've ever had. And so as we head towards the exits of our time here in New Orleans, we just want to get a little bit more of those classics. Right here at Parkways, I have their famous James Brown po' boy. It's got roast beef, it's got fried shrimp, pepper jack cheese, it's fully dressed, it's got gravy on it. Let's open it up. There's also a crystal hot sauce mayo on here. This is just...
It's a mountain.
I haven't even taken a bite yet. So, here we go.
Oh man.
I think that's what you want in a po' boy, right? I mean, it's just loaded. Fully loaded. Every bite, it's like we shoved New Orleans into a sandwich. We also got the classic Cajun side of jambalaya. Look at that. We've been waiting all week. We're nearing the end here in New Orleans, but in some ways this meal feels like a new beginning. This is like your co-pilot in New Orleans. Every single restaurant, crystal hot sauce. Y'all figure out an elegant way to eat this stuff? Let us know in the comments. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm willing to spend a lifetime trying to figure it out.
This is a monster of a sandwich. That is New Orleans in a sandwich. Messy, delicious. I've enjoyed eating all over this city, and it's gonna be hard to leave.
Just finished up here at Parkway Tavern. Po' boy was outstanding. Honestly, the roast beef was almost closer to barbecue beef once you got that gravy on there. It's shredded, so it was really good. The fully dressed, you got so much on there. You got the gravy. Sandwich actually becomes kind of hard to eat. So we ended up eating a lot of the sandwich with a fork. So we ended up eating the shrimp as kind of an appetizer and kind of having the roast beef sandwich separately. So you could end up separating the two and it might make for a little bit cleaner of an experience. Overall though, great roast beef po' boy. And if you are in the neighborhood, Parkway Tavern, it's been here since 1911. And that's for a reason. All right, we're here at Superior Seafood just off Canal Street. We popped in for a half dozen char-grilled oysters. They're covered in Parmesan cheese, butter. This oyster bar, the master shucker there, best oyster shucker in the United States. So here we go, a char-grilled oyster. Oysters are not on my menu very often. But when I do get them, I do enjoy them. This in particular is a very, very tasty version. Absolutely loaded with flavor. We've come here to NOLA Brewing to finish out our day. Madeline couldn't wait to get started on her barrel-aged blonde. We realize this is a dark beer, however, it is a blonde. And I'll be honest with you, I might order this for my next drink.
Okay, we've both had sips of it, so I didn't drink it all so far.
It is very, very good. Like we might, if they sell some to go, we're gonna grab
Growlers
some.
or something.
I got their brown ale, which is also very, very good. But after tasting Madeline's, you can see the disparity there. So we've had an amazing time in New Orleans. The food, I'm speechless. I mean, the food has just been incredible. Had really good beer while we're here. Obviously, just a fun town, great atmosphere, great architecture, such interesting history. And then also, we've had so many fantastic people over here too. People in New Orleans have been incredibly welcoming, and we love it here. We were just saying we wish we could stay here for a month. We would need a treadmill wherever we were staying. As we were leaving one of our last food destinations, someone kind of muttered, I feel like all we do here is eat and drink. And we agree with that sentiment. There's a lot more to the city. We've had so much fun, and we can't wait for the next time we come back.
Well, that's gonna be it for us here in New Orleans. We have had an absolute blast in this incredible city. I feel like we've explored so much and yet still only scratched the surface. Because if we came back again, I feel like we could have almost a completely different trip next time. An incredible city with an incredible culture and nightlife, and just, I'm getting a little sad to leave. So, if there's something that we should do next time we're in New Orleans, be sure to let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we're gonna keep this adventure rolling. So, we'll see where we head next.